Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. It's Friday, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I was thinking of November 26th, and that's the day of the Ondo governorship election. It was being thought of as maybe a two-horse race in the past. AD is in there, APC is also in there. But now, with the yesterday announcement that Jimoh Ibrahim of the PDP, alongside Mr. Jegede, that is now the presentation of the PDP. It's become a three-horse race, right? Was it always a three-horse race? Now, and of course, as you can imagine, the faction of the PDP led by Senator Ali Modu Sheriff, his supporters went into jubilation. Well, my guest this morning, Majid Jamil, journalist. Thank you very much for coming on, as always, MJ.
Thank you very much.
And Nelson Ekujimi, he's an activist, and he's also a public commentator. Thank you, as always, Nelson.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your program.
Indeed, always our pleasure. Now,
and it's a son of the soil in Ondo.
Exactly. So let me stay with him first. Let me start with him.
Okay.
Now, it's a two-horse race or a three-horse race?
Well, it's even more than a three-horse race, because if you look at the presentation yesterday by INEC, they reeled out the names of the parties and their candidates. And like we always know, one would expect that the powerhouse, that is the parties that, that are in power at the various levels, are the APC or the PDP. But this time around, like you have rightly identified, I think it's a three-horse race. Because I have to come back.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, you're coming back.
Yes.
To the premise of the question.
Of the question, yeah. Because now we have a new kid on the block, which is the AD that wasn't in the picture before until the defection of Chief Olushola Oki when he lost out in the APC primaries and he defected to the AD. But even as at that, even the AD itself, there's still some question mark on it, because you and I are very much aware that the party national ESCO is raising questions about the eligibility of this particular candidate.
Okay.
Because
the candidate of the AD.
The AD.
Okay.
And we also know that the PDP right now, they're having their own problems.
They're also protesting.
They're also protesting.
The emergence of Jimoh Ibrahim.
Yes, because we know very well before now that they had two factions and the courts. But fortunately for us, the courts has now come in, like we always say, that the court is the final arbiter, in disputes. The court has come out to state to direct INEC via a federal high court judgment in Abuja to recognize Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim.
Okay, and there are protests about that. In fact, we'll be able to, if we can contact our Ondo, guys, we'll bring you that, a particular aspect. Now, Majid, two-horse race or three-horse race?
I think I'll disagree with Nelson. He's a son of the soil, but I think it's, with developments yesterday, I would say it's a two-horse race. It's going to be a straight fight between AD and APC. PDP is out of it.
You actually discount the PDP effort?
The emergence of Jimoh Ibrahim, we saw it like Nostradamus. We saw it about when that Justice Okona Bank judgment came. And although at the end of the day, the PDP, the Mimiko faction or McCarthy faction of the PDP might be the major decider, but as it is, as we have on ground today, the fight is going to be a straight one between AD and APC, because Jimoh Ibrahim is like a Donald Trump. He's been able to chase the owners of the party out, like Trump did to the Republicans. They were, you see, when you are supposed to, Yoruba people say, if your neighbor is snoring, if you are not careful, if he's eating a bad product,
eating ants.
If your neighbor is eating ants, and you don't caution him, when he starts snoring at night, you won't be able to sleep. Now, before your run, that is it.
Okay.
Now, when they were eating the ant, when the neighbor was eating the ant, they didn't talk. You see, we need to tell our viewers, we need to let them know the basics. Jegede cannot appeal any judgment here because it was not a party to the main suit. The main suit The main judgment was given by Justice Okon Abang on June 29, and it's about which faction is the legitimate PDP faction in Ondo State. And the court ruled on June 29 that Biyi Poroye is the legitimate PDP faction, which the Clement Boboye faction never appealed. That judgment was there, lying fallow. And Jimoh Ibrahim, who is also a lawyer, and Sheriff, they are well grounded in things like this, so they kept quiet. They went to Ibadan to organize their own convention, which produced Jimoh Ibrahim. And Mimiko was saying, Mimiko and the Itayo faction was, Markafi said, they are jokers. How can you go and hold...
but nevertheless, since you went there to aspects of the law,
yeah.
If you have a judgment
yeah.
in your favor, you're not supposed to let it lie fallow. But
that is it.
Yeah, but right now I'm being told that we have Ayo Moradeyo, our correspondent in Ondo. We'll see what's going on. Hello, Ayo.
Hello, Yori.
Okay, can you give us what's the lie of the ground there?
Well, as early as possible today, this morning, some aggrieved members of the Ned McCarthy-led PDP took to the streets of Akure to protest the rejection of the name of Eyitayo Jegede as the standard bearer of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State today. The residents of Akure also joined them in the protest. So they are protesting that against INEC for rejecting.
How sizable is was the protest? In the 20s, in the hundreds?
Well, let me say they are in their hundreds. So they gathered at different locations. At the cathedral, a popular area in Akure, they gathered there. At the popular Ojaba market, we also have some group of youth and people protesting there. So even in Ondo town, I gathered that they are also protesting there. So the protest is everywhere. People are saying they don't want Jimoh Ibrahim. The protesters, that's what they are saying, that they don't want Jimoh Ibrahim, that they want Eyitayo Jegede, who is their candidate. But especially, Eyitayo Jegede is from Akure, and the people of Akure who have not governed the state before, they see that this is the first opportunity for them to work together as a team to have an Akure person to govern the state. So many of those who came out today to protest are indigenes of Akure.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Ayo, for that overview there. We'll be back with you, if there's anything fresh to report.
All right.
Thank you very much. Now, interesting, Nelson, when you look at the situation now, what do you think? Do you think the situation in the PDP favors any of either of the other contestants?
Yes, definitely. If they are unable to resolve or reconcile their differences before the election on November 26th, definitely you know that some of these aggrieved people will,
they might protest votes.
Yes, protest vote for either the AD candidate or the APC candidate. But I think it is important for us to make one thing very clear, that it is high time we educate our people that this democracy is founded on the rule of law. And we must also educate ourselves to the fact that Jimoh Ibrahim becoming the candidate of the PDP today was not just because he had the muscles to force himself to be the candidate. He took the line of the rule of law. He felt aggrieved when the other faction of the party claimed to be the authentic faction, and he went to court. Jimoh Ibrahim being a candidate of the PDP today is as a result of a court judgment. He didn't go on a street protest. We recognize the fact that the right to protest is a constitutional right for any citizen or group of people that should not be, inhibited, but it must be done, with civility. In this matter, one would have expected that these people who are protesting knows the right thing to do, and it is that if they feel so concerned, it is to explore how they can reverse the subsisting judgment of Justice Okun Abang, rather than taking to the street, because that will not change anything.
Indeed, even though you've never said you're a lawyer, that is spoken as a lawyer. Who
Definitely,
say it, you know.
definitely.
Now, that's part of the situation, I imagine, Majid, perhaps, that sometimes the law is used to do what some would, conceive of or perceive as a twisting of the facts, a twisting of the situation unfavorably using the legitimate outlet of the law. And so people say, fine, you want to use book, but we know what is right and what is not right. The point was made that, Mr. Jimoh Ibrahim and co, they went across to Oyo State to go and have their own. So in other words, they set it up, knowing that there's the law there. There's the law there that we can come and work all of this out later on. Now the thing has gone and happened the way it has happened, and people are on the streets protesting.
If you don't make your hay while the sun is shining, then it will be difficult for you to get grass to feed your cattle in the dry season. So that's why they say you make your hay while the sun is shining. So I said this thing and I will still repeat it. You left a judgment hanging and you are pursuing some inanities. Now, they went to...
But if they were not to have let that judgment...
If they had appealed that judgment, okay. If they had appealed the June 29 judgment, I mean, probably they will still have a hope that probably the appellate courts...
Okay.
But as it is, INEC says yesterday that list is final because they need to print ballot papers. And we have less than 26 days to the election. So that list is final. And sorry... Nothing
has been done wrong.
Nothing has been done wrong. INEC has followed the law. We are saying rule of law here. Now, there was a judgment in Akure yesterday saying that, an ex parte motion, not a judgment, an ex parte motion stopping INEC from throwing out Jegede. But what I will explain to our viewers is, an ex parte motion has a validity of 14 days, and it cannot supersede a judgment. A judgment takes superiority over an ex parte motion. So, and I think we should let our viewers know. And 1 million protests cannot change the list. Like what Nelson said is, if you fail to do what you're supposed to do, this is law. Jimoh Ibrahim emerged as the candidate now by default. But technically speaking, he's lawful. So, unfortunately...
You did say technically speaking.
Yeah, well, technically speaking, because unfortunately so, Jegede is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He knows the law. Jimoh is also a lawyer, but he's not a son. But he has taken advantage of loopholes left by the Clement Adeboboye faction of the PDP that is loyal to the incumbent Mimiko.
Might he still...
B. Poroye is in the the Sheriff faction. They took advantage. They went to court, got a judgment, and held it.
Okay, now with a bird's eye view of all of this, which you've just summarized there, might Jimoh Ibrahim not enter the race with an encumbrance of a disunited party behind him?
PDP has always been disunited in the country. We've always had McCarthy and Sheriff. And even in Edo,
this then is good news to the co-competitors.
Of course, it's good news. But then, like I said earlier, they will still play a critical factor. Like Nelson said, this will have been that's why they are probably protesting. This will have been the first time they will have an indigene of Akure, the state capital, that has the largest chunk of the votes, of the votes that determines who the governor will be in the race.
So we have to face these matters, Nelson, of, look, this whole matter about somebody we want an Akure man this time around. That is going to still play out. It's not a matter of necessarily merit or looking at the best capable candidate. It could come down to the wire. It could come down to that.
Well, that is the reality of the situation, that the bane of Nigeria's development, the bane of Nigeria's unity, has been the issue of ethnicity, religion, and other mundane things. Because if you ask me, for somebody to come from your area or from your ethnic stock, I don't think from experience it will translate to having a positive impact on your life as an indigene. Because like the Yoruba say, I want to make a proverb. Àjọbí ò kan tàánú, àfẹnitólúwa bá rán sí ni ló ń ṣe ni lóore. Meaning in English, that Yoruba proverb, that the fact that you have the same offspring from the same father does not translate that you will be the benefactor, to the person. So what should concern the average voter in Ondo State at this point in time is the pedigree, is the character, is the integrity of these candidates. And unfortunately, right now we have a divided house in the PDP. Also, we should not overlook the fact that the APC also has its own problem, because we are not sure if they have resolved their own differences. So even even
this Akure ethnic issue, how would it affect AD or APC, for instance?
Well, like we have said, it will affect them in the way that the people of Akure, and again, we must also correct one fact, that the people living in Akure, the majority of the voters in Akure, are not solely Akure indigenous.
Yeah.
They are non-indigenous. They are people of the eastern or the northern part of the country, ethnic stock in Akure. So what we play out there is that maybe the indigenous of Akure this time around will want to cast a protest vote that, look, since you are the one that has denied our son of the soil, this opportunity, we are going to cast a protest vote against you. And maybe that's what they will do against Jimoh Ibrahim to the advantage of the other party candidates.
Well, while not actually ruling out the kind of a stunt Jimoh Ibrahim could play, Jimoh Ibrahim is from Igbotako in very close to Okitipupa in the south. That's the Riverine area. And in the Riverine area, we know the trend of the voting pattern there. They deliver their votes in block, en bloc. Now, whether that will happen now
remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. Also, recall that the APC candidate is from Owo, and the AD candidate now is another strong contender, Olushola Oke, is from I think it's also from Ilaje.
Yeah.
So now we have two contending parties from Ilaje, Jimoh Ibrahim and Olushola Oke.
No, Jimoh Ibrahim is a Kale.
It's Kekale, but then they are from the same zone.
Yeah, they are from the same south.
They are the same Riverine area. Both Ilaje or Ikale or whatever. I mean, they are the same zone.
The same south.
So they are going to share the spoils there, so to say. Now, it leaves Akeredolu with, and if you look at the pattern of voting, you see
Akeredolu is an Owo man.
Akeredolu is an Owo man. Akure and Owo, Akure, Owo, and Ondo, they almost always go together. But then, Mimiko, like I said, is still going to play a very critical factor here, Mimiko and Eyitayo, because Mimiko is from Ondo town, Eyitayo is from Akure. Now Eyitayo is out of the race, technically speaking, until INEC can only get his bandits back if Jimoh Ibrahim wins and he wants to challenge the emergence of Jimoh Ibrahim. That is the only chance Eyitayo can have.
I get you. One moment, please. Mr. Dedei from Sudulere. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning
to the panelists in the house.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I think the problem that PDP has is that the judge in Port Harcourt is presently having a problem. Otherwise, they knew what to do. They would quickly have rushed to him, and the man will have put the judgment immediately in favor of Eyitayo Jegede. But the man is embattled now, and I wonder how he will be able to quickly produce a judgment. So maybe they are shopping for another judge elsewhere to get a judgment in their favor. But be that as it may, if the PDP are really interested in contesting and they have the love of their party, now that INEC has come out with the name of Jimoh Ibrahim, shouldn't they all, put all their issues behind them and support this Jimoh Ibrahim if the interest is about winning that election, and support him, and let's see where they can go from there. Because the other parties, they are having their issues. APC, they are having issues about squabbles within them, so they are not likely to speak with a divided, united voice. So let all of them let them bury their hatchets and support whoever INEC has come up with as the candidate. And I want to appeal to the Odo State indigents to vote wisely, because we have been used to people voting based on stomach infrastructure. Let them look at the antecedents of this candidate. Let them see who is going to favor them the most, who will remember the masses, who will put infrastructure in on those states. That's the kind of thing they should be looking for, not the one that has the deepest pocket. So
all right.
That's what I want to advise. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dede, for calling in. All sorts of issues. Looking at the papers this morning, in relation to the Ondo 2016 election, one of the headlines is that politicians are planning to clone PVCs, according to the resident electoral commissioner. So it looks like one way or the other, it's going to be a dynamic one, let's say.
Well, the truth of the matter is that if you look at our elections over the years, the greatest threats to successful conduct and conclusiveness of elections in any part of the country has always been the politicians. Because when the politicians come to the polling units, they are ready to compromise the INEC officials, they are ready to compromise the security agencies, they are ready to compromise the voters, they are ready to compromise even the observers. So
was that before, or in this era of change and anti-corruption, is that different?
That is still the same pattern. The Nigerian politician has not changed from their ways that election must be won at all costs. This do or die mentality is still very, very much prevalent with them. That is why a lot of us are clamoring that we hope the government will have the political will to implement, a part of the Justice Wise Commission report that, we should have an electoral offences commission so that we make scapegoats of these electoral offenders.
Let's hear it from Abdullahi calling in from Jos, Plateau State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Please go ahead.
This is my first corner.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, I want to comment on PDP problem in Ondo State. Yeah, I actually buy the. Yeah, I'm actually in support of what the other contributor is saying. You see, the explicit motion is quite a temporary something, and within 14 days, it lapses. So the judgment of the Okon Bank is a validated judgment, and since the INEC have said that they have chosen Jimoh Ibrahim, I think what the PDP should do is just to support the man and see how they can win the election.
Thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. Well, because it's a done deal. It's a fait accompli, and it's not as if it was INEC that selected. I think that's what he said. Something,
yes.
But really, INEC will be waiting for names to be submitted to it, right?
Yes, INEC was, and INEC is established by the Constitution, and INEC in the discharge of its functions is guided by the Electoral Act. And
but it's just that it's not INEC that selected.
No. INEC had to obey the judgment of the court.
Exactly. So this is the situation we have on the ground. There's still much work to be done. Let's look at that a bit. You were talking about even the emergence of AD is an issue in there. Okay, I think I heard from
Yes.
Let me go to MD on that one.
Yes.
Even
sorry.
the emergence of
AD, yeah,
is seen as some sort of a protest action.
Yes, a protest action. I mean, Olushola lost out. I think he came third or fourth.
Let me quickly take Olushola, but not
Oluke.
from Ipaja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for this program at this point in time. Just want to raise little contribution. I want us to look at this issue from two angles, on the technical ground and political ground. The question we need to ask at this moment is, what transpired at Edo election? What gave the candidature of PDP to Eze Iyamu against the Sheriff faction? If that one has played out in Edo State, what now changed the trend in Ondo State? Over time, I have looked at this thing as a script, acting from the desk of the presidency. That is the political angle of it. You know, one good thing about this country is that we celebrate these people and we make them to have overbearing power over our institutions. In Ondo State, whoever emerged from the PDP candidature is not a problem now, but we have to look at what is going to become of it tomorrow. Let me tell you something. It's a case of what happened in the Bible when two people are laying claim to a child, to a baby. And what they now said, okay, bring out the baby and let them slaughter it. Somebody once said they should slaughter it, another one said they should not slaughter it. Jimoh Ibrahim is actually praised a script, that a spoiler script. He knows very well that he will not win this election. It's a matter of giving away to somebody else. Fine. But
Okay, we got your drift. Interesting, very interesting analogy. Going back to that matter about the biblical story of, I'm gonna cut the baby in half, and then each mother can go with their own half. So I think he was leading up to saying that Jimoh Ibrahim says, split it in half and give me my own. But ending up there, surely Jimoh Ibrahim's candidature is much more important. Is going to be, at least from Jimoh Ibrahim's point of view, much more important than that. I don't know if we want to dwell on that because I interrupted a different idea, looking at the issues with AD emerging and perhaps it being a protest action.
To just respond to him quickly.
Okay.
We should stop doing some guesswork on what the law says.
Yes.
This is purely law. It's different from, you see, Jimoh saw a loophole and he went for it. Like the Southwest, I mean, there's a subsisting case. It's not only limited, the same thing will happen in Ekiti, Osun, or all the Southwest states. The law is binding. It is the Sheriff faction that has the judgment in their favor in all the Southwest states. So it's different from what is happening in the South and other parts of the country. McCarthy has a judgment in his favor in the South. So we should
separate
so
the two.
It's a different ball game.
Not confuse them. So, but in the meantime, as you were speaking, Elder David came in from Alimosho. Good morning, Elder David.
Good morning, sir. Olare.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Please go ahead.
God bless you, sir.
Please go.
Thank you. What happened in Ondo State
Yes.
is the best for this country. It has shown how democratic this government is. Because the present government wants to keep corruption in the judiciary and other places. And if Jimoh has not come in clean, judiciary is not actually corrupt, because what happened in Ondo State shows that this government wants to fight corruption. Jimoh Ibrahim belongs to the party that control PDP. Bono Sharif is the chairman of PDP, whether anybody likes it or not. So whether it's a candidate of PDP today, whether somebody is protecting Ondo State or another, if they are honest, they must know that what happened and what INEC is the correct thing. Those who are protesting in those states, they are fake. Because the government only wants to use the this government. When PDP was there, all these things happen more. They do more damage to this country than what you are saying. They don't bless you. Let us congratulate the government of Buhari. Buhari will kill corruption. By the grace of God, God is going to bless him.
Thank you very much, Elder David. Now, stay with us, please. We'll take a quick break, be right back, and we'll keep on taking your calls. Okay, welcome back. The November 26th election in Ondo. We can say that we're in something of a countdown to it now. Jimoh Ibrahim has emerged. Is it now a three-horse race, or is it still a two-horse race? And if that were to be the conclusion, then people might have discountenanced, perhaps at their peril, the third horse in the race. But we'd like to hear what you think of what's going on in, sort of the realigning of the forces going on in Ondo State. Call in, let's know what you think about it. We were, just before we went on break, with Elder David, who had called in, and he clearly he was rooting for the Ali Modu Sharif faction of the PDP. So that's the way things go. Let's hear it from as many sides as possible. Now, Majid, before we had to take Elder David, you were going to talk about the emergence of AD and between AD and APC in that place. Let's shift our gaze now away from the PDP, even though they made the news last. Between AD and APC in Ondo State, what do you think?
Yeah, okay. As this cult followership, Olushola Oke, the AD candidate, I think he came third in the APC primary, but he felt aggrieved. I mean, three of them addressed a press conference. Olushola Oke, Segun Abrahams, who came second, and Senator Ajayi Boroface, who came fourth. They all addressed a press conference, and clearly, Olushola Oke went on an appeal, but the appeal didn't work. But Olushola Oke left the party, went to AD, while Segun Abrahams and Boroface remained in the party, although in like a comatose manner, without supporting Akeredolu, the APC candidate. But for Olushola Oke, he has gone to AD, but he believes that he has a lot of grassroots followership, but then that remains to be determined by the voters. And like I said, the exit of Eyitayo Jegede will play a critical role, because wherever, if Eyitayo Jegede group decides to go for a protest vote against the emergence of Jimoh Ibrahim, then it will not depend on where they decide to shift their loyalty. If they give it to Olushola Oke, then we have a clear edge. If they give it to Akeredolu, we have a clear edge.
One moment, please. Let me take in Mr. Ide calling in from Surulere. Good morning.
Yeah, you're a good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Mojidi, of course, is a non-APC apologist. I'm not surprised. I'm saying that what APC is doing in PDP, when anytime they try to reconcile the Dabaru,
did I hear you right? Did I hear you right? What APC is doing in PDP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's APC that is sponsoring Modu Sharif. Modu Sharif is a foundation member of APC. He was an ANPP governor and then APC member. He was reported with Tinubu in Arewa House in Kaduna, where he threatened to slap him. That's when he left the party. He's a mood. Shetima, his deputy in Borno State, who is the governor of Borno State, said the PDP made the biggest mistake of their life by allowing Modu Sharif to be acting chairman. That is the one that will bury PDP. Go and Google it, is on the internet. Shetima, who knows him very well, that Modu Sharif will bury PDP. He said that. And I have it on record. So the APC is using Modu Sharif to destroy PDP. But I am saying that When they did the nomination in Edo State, it was the candidate of McAfee Caretaker Committee that contested the election. What has changed between that time and now? This so-called ambush kangaroo judgment that Mojid is alluding to, subsisting in all the Southwest states, I don't know where it comes from.
All right then. Okay, there. Thank you very much. I was going to go to Nelson, but since you mentioned Majid by name, do you want to take your time to come back to it, or do you want to?
No, maybe after after Nelson.
I think we must thank our last caller. But it's very, very unfortunate that he's trying to stand logic on its head. If Mr. Ide is aware of the fact that Alimodu Sheriff was installed as the chairman of the PDP by governors Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State and Nyesom Wike, that means Ayodele Fayose and Wike are moles of the APC in PDP. Then the fact of the matter again is that we must educate, we must inform our listeners so that they are not misinformed by the statement from the last caller, that Alimodu Sheriff, as the governor of Borno State, was under the ANPP. It wasn't under the APC. And again, is saying what has changed between Edo and Ondo. In Edo State, there was no court judgment validating the Senator Alimodu Sheriff faction of the PDP's candidate. But in the Ondo election, in the Ondo case, the Alimodu Sheriff faction of the PDP, in realizing that INEC could go ahead again to recognize the McAfee faction of the PDP, now quickly went to court, and they took their advantage. And one would have expected the Ahmed McAfee faction, if they knew their onions, to have done the appropriate thing when that judgment was given, to have filed an appeal against the judgment. For them to have allowed that judgment to have remained until the close of date according to Electoral Act, then INEC had no other option than to abide by the judgment of the court, because INEC is the creation of the law. Okay.
Mr. Hosanna, calling in from Ogba. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
I always appreciate you as my mentor all the time when you are running your program. You see, to be precisely, I'm from Ondo State. Precisely, I'm from Idori. You see, the election of Ondo State, we analyze it like this. You see, let's assume that the Uncle Majid made a statement. I think maybe the first man or the second man say something about pedigree. If PDP pedigree is very okay in Ondo State, let me tell one thing. Even though Jesus Christ came as a PDP governorship candidate in Ondo State, he will fail because of the pedigree of PDP in Ondo State. Mimiko have finished everything in Ondo State. Now, the problem is that Jimoh Ibrahim can never win any election in Ondo State. He knows that. According to Olushola, when he was calling from Ipaja, he made a statement, but you people do not understand it. Jimoh Ibrahim can never win any election in Ondo State. Now, my problem is Olushola Oke. If Olushola Oke comes from another party, definitely Olushola Oke will win that election. But my problem now is, you see, the politics in Ondo State lie from Idori. Go and ask from anybody. The politics in Idori, it determines all what happen in Ondo State. Is all those people are seen. If anybody among these candidates can capture Idori, to be precisely, it is then you can know. If you want to find out.
All right, I get you. Thank you very much. I got to interrupt you. Appreciate that valuable contribution. Majid, do you want to?
No, no, I don't want to respond to Ide. I think Nelson has cleared the air on that.
Okay. Now, according to the last gentleman, Idori is going to be crucial. The way Idori wants to lean.
Well, I believe every local government or every area of the state is crucial.
Yes.
And you were talking about Olushola Oke.
Yes.
The rumble we have about Olushola Oke's candidacy, is from the national headquarters of the party. Olushola Oke, like Majid rightly said, is a grassroots man. Is very much in tandem with the flow in Ondo State. And also, don't forget, Olushola Oke was a former PDP national legal advisor.
Yeah.
And in 2012, he was the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP then against Governor Mimiko, who was of the Labour Party, and Akeredolu, who was of the AC. But today, Olushola Oke is the candidate of the AD, the party, that the structure of the party that is just reinventing in Ondo State is a united one. And we expect that as a former PDP man, he will also benefit from the disarray in the camp of the PDP in Ondo State. And if you ask me, I think looking at the candidates, Olushola Oke stands a better chance than any other candidate.
Okay, Abe, Mr. Abe is calling in from Oshogbo. Mr. Abe, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, when you talk about a candidate having a grassroots support, there are a lot of factors that comes into play on election day, like the rejection of Jegede now by INEC is going to play a very critical factor, like I said earlier, in determining who emerges as the governor-elect for Ondo come November 26. And for Oke, this is the time for him to prove that he has that grassroots support, because like the Nelson rightly said, in 2012, as the legal advisor of the PDP with all the apparatus of the federal might of Jonathan, then he lost. Then he has contested as a senator and a rep, and he has lost those elections. So if he has that grassroots support in actual fact, and coupled with the fact that it's coming from a PDP that is now disunited, so we expect that he should harvest some of those votes, not also forgetting the fact that Akeredolu, who came third in 2012, is also a very strong force. And if the house mending moves that is going on in the APC, because Kekemeke...
because Mr. John has called in from Lagos Island. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yorifola.
Please go ahead.
It's been nice listening to you guys. But I actually want to talk to Moji.
Yes, I'm listening.
With due respect, I don't know why you feel so uneasy when you see any point being raised against Jimoh Ibrahim in this election. You feel so uncomfortable.
Wait a minute. What you just said? You said he feels uneasy when anything is raised against Jimoh Ibrahim. Are you therefore saying you see him as a Jimoh Ibrahim supporter?
No, it might not be. So it might be confused due to some situation, but that does not mean you should not have opportunity to listen to other people's views against Jimoh Ibrahim.
Well, it's sorry, madam. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. It's a marketplace of ideas. Just add your own idea, but I don't want you to personalize it unduly. Just add whatever is different. Whatever you want to say that is different.
Okay, let me just go straight to my point. According to Olushola from Yanopaja, when he was talking, he was trying to raise some points, and I don't want people to just look at that and push it aside. It's because of this our country and our institution. Olushola raised a point concerning a point from the Bible, citing a case of a child and two mothers. Everybody knows that Jimoh Ibrahim worked for Buhari in the last election. Then he's back in PDP to flag off for governorship. Whatever might transpire, I don't want to know. But the most important thing is that we need to talk to our INEC. It's an institution that should be free from any sort of overbearing influence from the executive. And I always have my point. This is a point, is a word. Nigeria executive arm of government is the brain box of corruption in Nigeria. Either we like it or not.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me just interrupt you there. You've said about as much as you want to say. You can say within the limited time we have. And we appreciate that contribution. But also, I wanted to point out that we just take these ideas. We just put them right in front of us, as it were. And then you, the viewer at home, who all of this is for, you drive your own conclusions. But we put all the ideas. So it's not taking one idea or putting one idea aside. Just wanted to make that point.
Yes, I think one thing we must admonish our callers.
Maazi Okorafo wants to weigh in from Abia State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Comrade Mazi Patrick Okoroka from Arosipio Blue Village. Good morning, our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
What I've seen on those states today, that is why Nigeria have been complaining about our judiciary. You see, the confusion we are having day today is our judiciary. If Nigerian judiciary have been, if that focus are proactive in what type of judgment they give to any case in Nigeria, all this confusion in on this state will not come up. Now, you see what is happening, two governorship aspirants for one post. So we are like what you wrote now, a three-horse race. Have you ever seen such thing in any part of the world? What our learned men and women, what are they doing? We come to a country where we have learned men and women, we bring confusion into the system. Jumo or no Jumo, Jigede or no Jigede, it is confusion from the judiciary. Nigeria should not blame anybody, because if Nigeria judiciary have been focused on what the type of judgment they give. Now, Sheriff and Makafi or Marakafi, what are they doing? They are just bringing confusion into Nigerian politics. See, there is no way Nigeria can run one-party system in this country. It's not done anywhere. If you look at America, look at what's happening between Clinton and Trump. Very, very vocal, very, very aggressive. Name them. Can something happen in Nigeria? It cannot happen in Nigeria because we are still claiming that we are giants of Africa, because we are not prepared to learn. Because they go help this country, because we Nigerians, we should sit down and know exactly what we want. We should not allow money people or money back to bring confusion into Nigerian system. Jumo or no Jumo, they should sit down and go back home and see, because short, they are creating room for the APC to judge what they call landslide victory.
All right then, Mazi Okoroapo, thank you very much for your call.
Yes, my admonition is to our callers is that they should realize that when guests are, discussing issues, on the media like this, it's not that we have monopoly of wisdom.
Okay, of course, I've made that point, but I just, why you're here is invaluable. Yeah. So, did you want to comment on the substance of the program?
Yes, my contribution, is that the scenario we have on our ground is the fact of the matter. That one, there's a court judgment that gives INEC the authority to include Jimoh Ibrahim to recognize Jimoh Ibrahim as the authentic candidate of the PDP for Ondo election, while there was no court judgment in that regard in Edo, and also that INEC, in the discharge of its functions, is always guided by the Constitution and the Electoral Act. INEC does not just recognize the candidate because they like its face. The candidate is supposed to be submitted by
so it's the law here. So people should start attributing ulterior motives.
At all. Yes.
Chief Darlington calling in from Akowonjo, I believe. Is that correct? Good morning, Chief.
Very correct. Good morning.
Okay. Thank you for calling in.
Uncle Yori, what is playing out in Ondo State today is appalling. The political situation that is playing out there is not encouraging. But again, this is an opportunity for the other smaller parties to take advantage of the situation. Enough of PDP, enough of APC. I would say without these two big parties, Nigeria cannot move forward, Ondo State cannot move forward. The answer is no. Let us move away from the blame game. What are the other parties? If, for instance, the court is giving the candidacy of the PDP to Jimoh Ibrahim, and then the confusion is PDP, is good news to the lower parties. For goodness sake, for once, let us begin to have the presence or feel the presence of other smaller parties at the helm of affairs.
All right, then.
Nigeria should go beyond PDP and APC.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Chief Darlington. But as you have heard, politics is a game of numbers.
Yep.
And that really is going to be the albatross that the smaller parties are going to, primarily face. But any chance of upsetting the apple cart, as Chief Darlington is saying, people should just take an advantage?
There are, I think there are between 24 and 28 candidates for this election, as released by INEC yesterday, the secretary to INEC. Mr. Justus Oguta. Now, we are talking about what the law says there and about authority. It's not our opinion. I'm not a supporter of Jimoh Ibrahim. I think we need to make that clear. But as we speak today, he is the candidate of the PDP.
He has the law behind him.
He has the law behind him.
You know, and we can't...
But we started by saying that it's going to be a two-horse race, although it disagrees. I said Jimoh is not even in this race.
Okay.
So
yes. You did make that point.
Why anybody will now say I'm supporting Jimoh is that leaves more to be desired.
Okay.
I have no apology for my opinions.
Yes. Mr. Yakub from Dokwemo, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Jerry.
Thank you for calling.
God Almighty bless you for giving us this opportunity once again. And then good morning to your guests in the studio.
Thank you. Good morning.
It's not clear to Nigerian citizens that everybody call him or herself as a politician. They are not aspired to be a governor or to be a senator or whatever, I thought to say, because of ordinary Nigerian citizens. They are just going there for their selfish interest. Why am I saying that? If it is truly that you are going to be a governor of those states for trafficking the ordinary citizens of that state, why is it that when court gives the judgment, some people will now mobilize people to go on the street to protect? And then I can tell you, it is your election won and lost when the political party and conduct their primary. If you make sure that you conduct your primary, the primary is going free and fair, and then it's clear to every candidate that this primary is clear so that the person won and the other people lost. I can tell you that the party will win the election, but especially whereby you are conducting a primary election, and then some people will be disagree with the primary, and then moving to the another party. It could be a plus. So APC as a party today, if you say they conduct their primary very well, but now what will happen today? It is not clear to anybody now that who is going to govern that state. At the end of the day, if Jimoh Ibrahim went ahead and be a party in that election, at the end of the election, some people will go to court, and then the court will decide who is the governor of that state. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yakub really crammed as much as he could. He was just interrupting him. The bottom line is that nobody can really say what's going to happen in Ondo State. That point.
It's down to the wire.
It really is, you know.
And again, I want to disagree with Mojid in saying Jimoh Ibrahim cannot, upset the apple cart because of the fact that the only permanent thing.
No, I don't believe he said.
He said it's a two-horse race. That's
I said yes.
It is a two-horse race.
Yes,
the implication is that Jimoh Ibrahim cannot.
Yes, but with human beings, I expect that between now and 26th, anything can still happen. The only person that...
because tomorrow is a long time in politics.
Yes, a long time in politics. So reconciliation and realignment can occur. So we must also recognize that it's only God's decision that is final. With human beings, things can change tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me take Abe, but this time, this Abe is from Johannesburg in South Africa. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much for taking my call this morning. Please, sir, I have a suggestion to make to you before I make my contribution, please. Can you please create a particular line for people in diaspora? Because we always try to get hold of this program, but we can't really get through sometimes.
All right, then.
A program that is very educative for people, especially in diaspora.
Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yes, the issue of Ondo State. I am from Ondo State either. And the issue at hand, the people who are calling in attacking Uncle Mojib, I think they are just doing that as they don't understand what the meaning of law is. Because, for example, there are other people like it or not. Jimoh Ibrahim, they saw what happened in Ondo State. They took the advantage and they went to court. They didn't go to the street to fight. They didn't go and get ammunition to fight for what they believe in. They went to the court, which is what the position says, and they won at the court, and the Highlight used Jimoh Ibrahim as the candidate of the PDP in Ondo State. Where, by and large, what I saw happening now is they are going to give Olushola Oke the opportunity to become the next governor of Ondo State, which is exactly what played out in the case of Agala Jobi and what's his name, Otedola in Lagos State.
Yeah.
Because APC didn't get their house in order. At the same time, PDP are not getting their house in order. Olushola Oke might likely be the next governor of Ondo State.
Thank you very much. We've got to let go of you there. We've run out of time entirely. I hardly have time to thank you. very much, Nelson, and also Majid. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
I'll be back on Monday, God willing, with a fresh edition of the program. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.